Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In our previous session, we discussed about the basic thing of journaling like the definition, advantages and all the basic components related to journaling, right? Now from this session, what we will do, we will discuss about each and one by one each command with their description, use and also see practical way to use the command. Okay, and in previous session also like we discussed we just look at the basic overview of those commands, but in this session we are going to practically use those commands in order to perform some operations. Okay, so the first command which we will discuss today is create journal receiver. Why we are using this command first? Because whenever you create the journal, it is required to attach some receiver to it. So that's why we will firstly discuss about the receiver command and then later we will process for the further commands. Okay, so now the topic for today is how to use uh, journal receiver and what is journal receiver. Okay, so journal receiver is nothing but a container that holds all the entries created during the journaling process. Okay, so just assume there is one file on which you have started the journaling. Now you would like to store all those entries for the journal, all those entries which initiated or which is generated during the time of journaling process. So in that moment, the container that we will use to store those entry will be known as journal receiver. Clear? Fine. So we got what is journal receiver. Now question is how we can create the journal receiver. So to create the journal receiver, you can use the simple command which is combination of three characters. You can see CRTJRNRCV. Okay. Now if you look at these characters, CRT is indicating create, JRN is indicating journal, and RCV is returning indicating receiver. Okay, so this is the command CRTJRNRCV. Now once you take F4, because never click the command, never hit enter on the command directly, just take F4 first. Once you take F4, it will take you to this screen from where you will find all the required parameters that you can provide to it with their description. Okay, but let's say if you are not aware of the command, then in that case what you can do, you can simply place your cursor here on this white text which is showing the actual definition like create journal receiver, and simply press F1 here. Once you press F1, it will open a help screen for that particular command create journal receiver, where you will find all the information like definition, restrictions, all the parameter details like what all parameters we can provide to it. Okay, so these are the information that you can refer from here. Another very important thing is that let's say if you are using this command in CL program, so there you might need some escape messages IDs, right, in order to handle the errors. So if you do page down, you will find the same information here also. You can see there are some examples as well, examples for CRTJRNRCV, right? So you can simply take a reference from here as well, and these are the escape messages that we can use during maintaining the uh, during handling the exceptions and error. So this is the best way to learn about any command. And if you check the definition for the create journal receiver, although we know that it will create a journal receiver that we will use to hold the uh, entries that is generated during the time of journaling. Okay, now let's see what is written here. So here it is written, the create journal receiver CRTJRNRCV command creates a journal receiver. Once a journal receiver is attached to a journal, and here it is mentioned with create journal CRT command or change journal CSGJRN command, journal entries can be placed in it. Okay, so this command will create the journal receiver, and at the time of journaling it will store all the information in it. A preferred auxiliary storage pool ASP and a storage space threshold value can be specified for the journal receiver. So this is just a definition. Similarly, if you can look at the restriction, there are some points which is important, Like here it is mentioned, a journal receiver cannot be created in library qtemp. So we are not supposed to create in qtemp, right? This command cannot be used to create journal receiver for a remote journal. So these are the point you will find here, all the restrictions. If the library to contain the journal receiver is on an independent ASP, then lib ASP must be specified. So you will find all the restrictions related information here. Similarly, if you would like to check for all the parameter detail, you can simply refer this thing, right? Here everything is mentioned, like what parameter we need to pass and when we need to pass. Okay, so for now I'm just hitting enter here. So this is the main command. Although it is asking for multiple parameter, but for time being just focus on the basic thing, because once basic is clear, then maybe in upcoming days when we implement the complex things, then at that moment we will see the complex parameters as well. But for now we will just focus on the basic one. So here in journal receiver field, you are supposed to pass the receiver name. So let's say I want to create the receiver with name test RCV. You can select any name, but it should indicate that you are using it for receiver. Like in my case, I'm using test RCV, so which is indicating I am creating test receiver. Then we are supposed to pass the library name where we want to create this receiver. So I passed it as Sharmit1. Okay. Then in ASP number, if you would like to check what value we can pass here, press F1 and here you will find all the information. Okay. For now I'm not going to fill this one. Just keep it by default value and then simply check for the threshold. Here we are supposed to pass the threshold related information. So if you would like to change any, you can read this out and as per your requirement you can change it. But for now we will just focus on basic and we will go with the by default values. Okay, then we are supposed to pass the text description. So this thing I would recommend to keep in mind, that you can write this sample RCV. So why we are providing this information? It will help us to recall the reason behind creating this receiver. So that's why I always recommend to keep the description here. Okay, now press F10 for further parameter. If you would like to change any of them, like preferred storage unit is there, authority is there, so you can simply press F1, read about it, and as per your need change the parameters. But for now we will just go with default values. So I'm hitting enter here. So you can see one message is populated here: journal receiver test RCV created in library Sharmit1. Okay, so that means your test RCV command is test RCV is created in your library. Fine, but how we can verify it? So to verify it, what you can do, simply go with this command work obj, then press F4. Here you can put your receiver name test RCV which you have created, which you just created, then provide your library name and then simply hit enter. Once you hit enter, it will show you this object detail, like type is STRJRNRCV, then we have library Sharmit1, text is sample RCV. Okay, and for to check the more information, you can take option 8 here, and it will provide you all information like create information, creation date, user specific, create system created on. So all these information you can find here. Receiver is also size is also there, object size. Okay, so yeah, this is the way to verify whether your receiver is created or not, although you will get that message that your receiver is created successfully. But to check more about the object detail, you can use work obj command. Okay, so yeah, this is the thing that I want to convey to you in this session. Like we discuss what is CRTJRNRCV command, how we can use it. Also we learned about the basic thing, like why we are using journal receiver and what is the meaning of journal receiver. So journal receiver is just a container that help us to store the entries which is created at the time of journaling. Okay, once journal receiver is created, then we will attach this receiver with some journal that will store the that will be enabled on any particular file, and then the journaling information will be stored. Okay, So yeah, that's all for this session. And if you remember, in our previous session we started another initiative to discuss the questions that will help you for the interview preparation. So for today's question is very simple: what is the need of journaling? And we will discuss only those questions which we have already covered in our previous session, but it will help you to recall your concepts. And also, if there is any kind of issue, then maybe you can ask in the comment section, or you can simply refer the session again, because we are doing it in series. So you can simply refer the session and then you will be able to answer this question. But I would recommend you to please write your answer in the comment section, so that if anyone is not aware of this thing, he can simply look at your comment and he can get some knowledge from it. Okay. And the best answers I will pin in the comment section, and also will take the name of those user who has responded earlier with the correct answer. Okay. So yeah, that's all for today's session. In the next session we will discuss few more comments. So thank you for watching. Tech Sharmit.